Hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you very much for joining me here today. We're taking a look at Sandbox, and this is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now we're taking a look at Sandbox because the fact that the price action has been kind of interesting lately. My community reached out for me to cover this, so thank you as well for requesting that. And just note that I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research. Furthermore, I do have a link to my Telegram community, my Patreon account if you'd like to show your support. And I do have some signal groups moving forward here coming up soon, so that way you can essentially stay in the know. And that's going to be available through my Patreon, of course. So again, thank you so much for all my current subscribers and supporters. You're all very awesome. Thanks so much again for joining me here today. And why don't we just go ahead without further ado. Oh wait, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Always do your own research. I like to throw that in there just so you know. But I do have years of trading experience, so I can assure you, you are in good hands. We'll find a good entry point for you here today, hopefully, as well as just understanding best practice. I like to educate others on best practice for trading. I think it's seriously deficient in the crypto market universe right now. Okay. Either way, again, without further ado, let's go ahead and get trading. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a look at Sand, which I believe is considered Sandbox. Now, this is my first time I'm looking at this. Thank you very much to my community to reach out and ask me to go ahead and cover this. I can see that it's performing interesting right now, so it's going to be cool to kind of take a look at this here. But what we're going to do first, if you're new to the channel, we just look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, kind of get a baseline on the overall market, so we know how they impact each other and essentially what's driving the pricing right now. Okay, I mean, as we all know, Bitcoin really does that, but some coins will surprise you and kind of respond contradictory to it, and that's what we like to see. So let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin first. And just before we get started, I use the Binance desktop application. I use TradingView, so if you see top right hand corner here, there's an option for TradingView. That is essentially what I use for a majority of my videos. If it's not available on Binance, I'll just load it up on the TradingView platform in general. I just kind of like the color scheme here, honestly, and just the way that controls, it works better for me. Moving forward here, looking at Bitcoin. This is a 4-hour chart. So before we get started, I just want to note that we have both moving averages are well above the price action. Now the 50-day moving average will likely be the first thing to intersect with the price, so we'll see how that works. Hopefully that will continue to work as a support because it has before in the past. Okay, so as you can see here, when the 50-day moving average came down and finally worked itself back into the price, we were good to go for a while until the Elon candle happened, and now it's kind of just, crap city, right? Oh yeah, by the way, raise your hand if you love Bitcoin right now. Anyone? You see I didn't raise my hand? Okay. Anyways, enough said about that. That's just, it's a minor frustration of mine. But again, I'm not much of a short seller, right? I prefer to go long, and that's just kind of my thing. You can still do very successful as a long trader in a bear market. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very much the case, especially if you're day trading. But when it comes to like some of your short-term swing trades or anything longer than 30 days, you're kind of out in the rain if stuff like this happens, right? Which a lot of my viewers are. So that's why I like to make these videos, to help you understand that it's not dire straits, we're not in terrible shape. Yes, it could be better, but it hasn't found its bottom yet, which is kind of a good sign. So 30,000 I do feel is a strong support level, so that was tested and rejected there a couple of days ago, or was that, I think it was 3 days ago. And then of course recently we had a little more recent sell-off, so we are seeing lower lows and lower highs here, so we kind of see this little pattern forming. So it's nothing, again, to be super worried about because it likely will break out. I'm speculating we're going to see a consolidation, have the 50-day moving average tested, and once it holds above, we can start to break some of these resistance levels. Again, here's to hope, right? So that's Bitcoin 4-hour chart. Let's look at Ethereum next with their 4-hour chart too. And this is essentially the same thing, right? As you can see, it's been mirroring Bitcoin almost to a T. And what's odd is Bitcoin usually, when Bitcoin sells off, Ethereum is the one that people migrate over to, but we haven't been seeing that much recently. And I think it's just because there's an overall state of indecision. What's Bitcoin going to do? Who wants to invest in any altcoin right now at this point, when the fact that the price action is consistently just decreasing? Nobody's, a lot of people are gun shy right now, and I get that. But that just basically just tells us that Ethereum is essentially moving the same as Bitcoin, again, on a technical standpoint. They still have great fundamentals, nothing to be worried about there. But that being said, we do have a death cross here when you see the 50 intersect with the 200-day moving average in a downward fashion. So it's kind of similar to the moving average convergence divergence. When it comes down and swings down, it drives the price down even further. Not to say that'll continue to happen, it just basically means that this is a pretty strong resistance level at about 3,000. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Sand. So take a look here. This is the one-day chart. We always look at the one-day chart first and then work our way down. And then we'll just go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour, 15-minute, and 1-minute to identify maybe a good entry point for you. All right, so taking a look here to note, first of all, the price really ramped up really fast. Back in what, March, looks like? Yeah, March was a good month for Sand. So it hit upwards of 90 cents, almost 91 cents. And it started off roughly the beginning of the month at 21 cents. What kind of growth is that? 320%. So yeah, that was a pretty strong return, right? Hopefully you got in and took some profits and you're not still holding. But on the same accord, it'd be okay if you are, because it does look like the price action is almost moving opposite of Bitcoin in a sense, and I'll explain what I mean by that here in a moment. But for the most part, we can see the 200-day moving average is working as a fairly strong support. I mean, 3 of the last 5 trading days have closed above, so I do think that we're still in good shape right now, even though the price is kind of testing it and currently below. If we can get today to close above that line, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. Okay, so again, roughly 27 cents for the price action, and the 200-day moving average is about 28 cents. Okay. The 50-day moving average is working as a resistance level. Obviously, you can see that. I wouldn't put too much weight into that just yet, because the fact that we still have a few days before the price intersects with that, but just something to be mindful of. Also note too, we've had a lot of volume recently, right? So we saw that strong increase in volume yesterday. 384 million was traded yesterday. So that's quite a lot. Good news is too, RSI is still very, very low. Okay, so generally speaking, the overall sentiment here is that Sand is extremely oversold, which means they're probably likely going to see more movement here and a lot more volume moving forward. Okay, more volume, more volatility, more likelihood the price is going to continue to go up. Okay? All right, so that's the one-day chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, let's see what's going on here. So we got the, again, 200-day moving average working as a resistance, and the 50-day working as a current resistance, because we just lost that support. So I'm not exactly sure, again, the fundamentals of what happened with Bitcoin recently when it's just sold off, but it obviously impacted Sand. But what's interesting prior to that is, Bitcoin was going kind of sideways, if you will, for a short while, like this little period right here before it sold off in the last 12 hours. We're looking at, kind of sideways action, which is what we're looking for, because if we can get a little more sideways from, just say, Bitcoin over the next 24 to 48 hours, which I think is likely, then Sand will recover, come back up here, and likely break the 200-day moving average and continue up. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I think that the price action can still recover and do well, because if you see what happened here, in this big blast off, so to speak, that was essentially just having a short period of consolidation with Bitcoin, right? So we can have some stabilization of the market, some type of, I don't know, feel good or something to just give us hope, right? With Bitcoin, if Bitcoin can just do more than 1 day of sideways action, then we're going to be doing really well. Because obviously Bitcoin's been, 1 day consolidation, sell off, 1 day consolidation, sell off. It's been rinse and repeat, and it's just destroying the heck out of a lot of altcoins right now. Good news is the prices are all very affordable. The bad news is the prices are getting hit harder than they really need to be. It's kind of unnecessary, the whole way that things are happening right now. But that's cryptocurrency. That's just kind of how it works. You got to get used to it. Back to the chart here. So looking at the volume again, I already identified that, a lot of volume. We do have some red volume bars here recently, of course, and that is likely because Bitcoin tested 32,000 right in that range. And we can see on the 4-hour chart too, we've got the MACD is swinging downwards, essentially just telling us that the momentum has shifted. Let's look at the 15 and see what's going on here. Now I always disable the moving averages in the 15-minute chart just because I believe the VWAP and the EMA work better. Because as you can see here, ever since it started selling off, the EMA is working as a very strong resistance level. In fact, it probably still is. So don't think that we're at the bottom yet. Do not chase the bottom until you have full confirmation. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Because if you see here, right, a lot of people see the RSI under 30 and be like, oh, it's a good buy signal, I'm going to buy in right now. Say you had done that, okay? Just for example, say you had done that right as soon as the RSI comes under 30. right here you would have got in. Okay. Now, that being said, it's not a very good entry point, right? We look at that, we go down to price action right now, that's a 20% decrease. Okay, so you missed out on 20% of profit by doing that. So the key in most cases is to wait for the RSI to come back over 30 and then to consider entry, or to ensure the price is to above the EMA line. Because like just say for example we look at right here and the price is under 30 and it's just coming back above. That wouldn't be a terrible entry point, normally speaking, but if you didn't use other indicators, it would be a bad idea because you're still missing out on that profit, right? And what kind of profit is that? That's, okay, 9% roughly. So, you helped improve your odds by using your RSA more effectively, but you're also still kind of hindering yourself because of the fact that it came back up and it didn't find its true bottom, right? So again, you never want to try to chase the bottom because it's a bad call, but what you want to do is find the bottom by using other indicators, right? So the best way to do that for me isn't to use just the RSI because that's just a linear path. That's you're kind of putting blinders on and hoping for the best. It's helpful, but it's not the perfect method. The best method for me is to wait for the EMA line to be tested twice. And what I mean by that is that when the EMA line comes up above, when the price comes up above the EMA line, first of all, the EMA is an exponential moving average. It works as essentially a momentous indicator. It's similar to the MACD in a lot of ways, but it just follows the price action closer. So if you see the price underneath this, that's obviously working as a resistance and it's driving the price down, right? So until the price comes above and holds above and ensures that the price is moving in an upward fashion, you have no reason to take entry. Okay, regardless of what the RSI says. See, RSI told us to get entry here and take entry here, which are potentially two good entry points. But if you don't use the EMA or the VWAP line, you're not going to know really what's going on, right? So to rewind a little bit, the VWAP line is essentially a volume weighted average price. Tells us what the volume is the last 24 hours expressed as a price. So right now, according to the volume, which has mostly been selling off recently, the price should be 37 cents. And it's desperately below that. It's at 27 cents. So that means this is a resistance level. Okay? And with this variance being as large as it is, we should expect to see the price come back up. So that's one indication, right? So the price goes too far away when it's the deviation is too far from the volume weighted average price. It has a tendency of recovering itself naturally. So it will do that eventually soon. So I'm speculating the price is going to come up and continue to go up, or at least consolidate for the price, the VWAP to come back down and meet with it. So what I'm getting at here is, just using the RSI alone is not a good call. So to find the bottom here, if you're trying to, chase the bottom, so to speak, this may not be the bottom, right? So we want to wait for the price to come above this EMA line, and then to hold above the EMA line, and to be tested twice. And when I say tested twice, I mean like a lot of times it'll shoot up above the EMA line, it'll come back down, and then if it bounces off the EMA and continues to go up, that's the confirmation you need to look for. See if I can identify that for you. I guess this is an example, just an extreme example, where you see the price comes up, comes back down, tests the EMA, and bounces and continues upwards. That's kind of a case in point. It doesn't always work this way. Likely, this came back down and retraced significantly because it came up too fast. But a lot of times you'll be able to see that. So I guess here's an example. Your price comes up over EMA, and then it tests the EMA line, holds, it bounced off the VWAP line, and continued upwards. That's what you want to look for. That's the confirmation you need to have. So to me, seeing this right now, this is danger. Even though it does appear to be affordable, you are essentially gambling, trying to find the bottom right now. Okay. So the thing you want to look for is price over EMA, preferably over VWAP. Doesn't have to be, but in this case, it will work as a resistance level, so be mindful of that. And also to ensure the RSI is somewhere close to 30 if possible. So again, RSI should only be used in combination with other things. Never use this as your sole indicator. If you're going to use an indication for a buy signal, use the EMA line. That's probably the most effective thing. But also confirm if the EMA is above or below the VWAP. So if this VWAP line was down here, it'd be pretty good shape to consider an entry point. All right, so that's kind of what I wanted to get across there. So please understand that. Be cautious, be careful with your entry points. You just got to be smart, right? And don't, for the love of everything that's awesome, don't all in, okay? I hear this a lot with people saying, I'm all in on Matic, I'm all in on Sand. And it's just a terrible concept because when you put all your eggs in one basket, you're not doing yourself any good. You want to diversify, and you want to find something that's going to kind of spread out. You want to spread your wealth, if you will. And what I also mean by that too is don't go on in your position. Say you've got $1,000 and you want to go ahead and try to take entry at the bottom once you find it. Don't put all entire $1,000 on the line. Put maybe 200 to 300 in, and then once you get that confirmation the price is moving up, add to your position. Okay, I benefit greatly by doing that personally, but that's because I've been burned so many times by going all in the past that it can be very challenging, very difficult to recover from, right? I mean, taking a 10-20% loss in one day can be very hard to be okay with. So if you have risk management and you have a toleration of just say 2%, then you can walk away knowing, okay, I lost 2% today, no big deal. But tomorrow I'm going to shoot for 4%, and once I get that, I'm getting out. I always do a 2-to-1 ratio. You should shoot for no less than 2-to-1. 3-to-1 is preferred, of course. I shoot for that too, if all the indicators are there. But the key is to not get greedy, right? You try to shoot for 3, 4, 5, 10% gains, you're going to get bit eventually soon. Take the small wins while you've got them. That's the important thing, and that's how you can survive in a bear market. This doesn't concern me at all because I shoot for 1 to 2% gains per day. So I grow my wallet by 1% every day. Preferred. It doesn't always work that way, don't get me wrong, but the goal is to shoot for 1% every single day. For the most part, I hit that goal, and the reason why is because I respect my indicators and I never use only one indicator alone. Okay, you want to combine 2 or 3 for the most benefit. Okay, so those are just little things I like to confirm and kind of express here. So just be careful, be wise, and be smart. If you'd like to grow more in your trading, feel free to join my Discord or Telegram community. I will have a signal group coming out soon as well, which will essentially just signal you on good entry points, best practice there as well in this market that we're in, which is very strange and unique. So we'll see what happens with that. But that is essentially the goal for that. One last thing, I'm going to be doing some live streams in the next few weeks as well. So pay attention there too, or we can just do a live TA. You make your request and I'll go ahead and fulfill that, hopefully, in the order they received. I get a lot of requests nowadays. So either way, thanks again for your time and appreciate you. Also my community, you're all very awesome. Love and appreciate your support. We'll see you in the next video, everyone. Take care. Thank you.